you. Good afternoon, everyone. For a couple of minutes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. Very good afternoon. Yes, some questions already. Good. So we have completed input tax credit completely, and today we'll be discussing on same input tax credit. So whatever theoretical aspects we have read, we will make it stronger and make it firm by taking up the problems. Last week we had taken up some problems, correct? So basically we understood. So we will take up some more things today. Just see what best we can do. Okay. And I want everybody's contribution so that once you are there with us, then it will be better that we solve the problems. Okay. So there is an update also in terms of statutory updates. I will share that first and then they will work out the problems. So firstly, your questions, as usual, we start with questions. May 2025 paper question 1A, Rajveer, I do not have it. If you have it, you can share it, then we'll be able to solve it. And Soumya's question is, can you please explain exceptions to Rule 86B? First point, payment of IT of more than 1 lakh, right? So Rule 86B, we know that 99% of the taxes can only be utilized through your credit ledger if you are paying, if you have a turnover more than 50 lakhs. Correct. The first exception says that, okay, you don't have to utilize 90%, you can utilize 100%, provided any of the concerned person, that is, if he's a proprietor, then the IT of the proprietor, that is the income tax return, you are paying 1 lakh rupees. Or if it's a company, then the directors, or if it's a partnership firm, any one of the partners is paying income tax more than 1 lakh rupees. Now, this income tax, should they pay in cash or they can utilize through credit? There is no clarity on that. So, in your income tax return, if the tax payable is 1 lakh rupees, that should be sufficient to get this exception. Okay. What is the topic that you will teach today, Divyanshi? We will be touching upon input tax credit. So all the theoretical aspects we have covered, we'll be working on the practical aspect. We will take up some problems and solve it. Yeah. So any questions on input tax credit you could ask today? Awesome. Okay. Yes, Bhuvaneshwaran, sorry, you want to ask some question? Yeah, you can unmute and ask a question. Okay. So we'll start with the statutory update. Uh, okay, there's one question. Akarshita, I think regarding the study material and things, board of studies you can call them, or you could reach out to me then. I think ideal would be that you reach out to the board of studies on the version, and they will guide you. Rule 41 Nidhi, I will come back. So we'll go to the statutory updates and then we will come back to Rule 41 then. Yeah. There is a circular which is relevant for your exams. And since this is a new circular, I think you should definitely pay attention to this, wherein this is on the topic of input tax credit itself, wherein they are clarifying on whether you will get input tax credit under section 16(2)(b). 16(2)(b) condition says that you have to receive the goods. You have to receive the goods. So what happens in respect of goods which have been delivered by the supplier at his place of business under X works contract? Okay. So first before getting into the circular, we need to understand two things. One is 16(2)(b), which we have already aware that 16(2)(b) says the condition to claim the credit is you should have actually received the good. You should have physically received the good. Only then 16(2)(b) is satisfied. And that is first point which we understood. Second is what is this X works contract? Any idea you have on what is this X works contract? What is this X works contract? X works contract means the supplier, he will manufacture or he will do trading activities, but his responsibility, or he says that my price to you or my contract with you, the customer, is that I will deliver the goods at my factory gate, which means my responsibility is completed once the goods are ready and it is ready for dispatch. After that, it is not my responsibility, it is your responsibility. That is called X works contract. ओके, एक्स वर्क्स का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का मतलब क्या है कि सप्लायर ने अपने फैक्ट्री गेट तक गुड्स मैन्युफैक्चर करके रेडी रख दिया, या तो फिर आपका ट्रांसपोर्ट लेके आके उस गुड्स को लेके जाइए, या फिर मैं ट्रांसपोर्ट वाले को अरेंज करूंगा, लेकिन उसके लिए आपको चार्जेस अलग से लगेगा, लेकिन इस गुड्स की रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मेरी नहीं रहेगी, वो ट्रांसपोर्टर की हो जाएगी. So that is the meaning of X works contract. That is at the factory gate, his responsibility of the supplier is completed. Okay, that is X works contract. Now in automobile sector, that is generally seen wherein the contract is between the automobile dealers and the original equipment manufacturers. Jaise you have a car, right? Now car is sold by Maruti, correct? Now the parts of it is not supplied by Maruti. There are different dealers who deal in it. They are called as original equipment manufacturers. जो original ना तो who are directly supplying the same material to Maruti, they will sell it to the automobile dealers. Because whenever we have any repair to be done, we generally buy authenticated products, original products, right? So Maruti will manufacture a car. I'm just giving an example of Maruti car so that we can understand. Maruti will manufacture the car. When we need spare parts, we will go to a garage and he will give us a list of items which has to be purchased, spare parts which has to be purchased. Now, this spare parts we will buy from automobile dealers. Automobile dealers buy it from, if they want to buy a original parts, they will buy it from a OEM, who is called as original equipment manufacturers. Now, these OEMs, they are so busy that they do not have time to distribute it. So what they're saying is we will generally enter into a contract with automobile dealers for X works contract. मतलब जो मेरे फैक्ट्री गेट पे रेडी होगा आपको लेके जाना है, right? And dealers also are okay with it because there is a lot of demand for this and they want to buy it and sell it to their customers. So the contract between the automobile dealers and the original equipment manufacturers is generally there on X works contract basis. And as per the terms of the contract, the property in this goods, that is the vehicles, passes to the dealer at the factory gate of the OEM. Correct? That's what we had said, that it passes on at the factory gate of the OEM itself. When the goods are handed over to the transporter at the instance of the dealer and delivery on the part of OEM is complete. Because he is given off his goods to the transporter, वहां तक उसकी responsibility खत्म हो जाती है. OEM delivers delivery of the goods under the X works contract and the automobile dealer buys it. Now, the transport may be arranged by the OEM on behalf of the dealer. That is, the transportation can be arranged by the OEM itself, saying that dealer is saying, okay, I agree, but you arrange for the transporter. Now, you are sitting in north and I am sitting in south. I do not know how will I come there and arrange the transport. I do not know any transporter. I agree that your responsibility is complete, but you please find out for a local transporter and transport the goods to the south. Okay, so the transport may be arranged by the OEM on behalf of the dealer, and where insurance is arranged, it may also be done on behalf of the dealer. Wherein supplier says, I will do the transportation, raste mein kuch ho gaya to, so dealer says, okay, you arrange for insurance also. So both the transportation and insurance is arranged by the OEM itself. So any claim of loss can be lodged by the dealer to the insurance company. So what is the issue in this case? The issue was, भाई अगर ऐसा arrangement हो गया है, so the dealer will get the goods from north to south in 3 days, correct? But the supplier has already raised the invoice. Now, can the dealer, the buyer, claim the input tax credit or no is the question. Because supplier has raised the invoice, उसके GSTR 1 में ही उसने अपलोड भी कर दिया है as the date as say month and 30th April, लेकिन you have received it on 2nd of May. तो फिर should you consider as purchase or no? Should you claim input tax credit or no is the question. What do you think? Yes, Chauhan is saying you can claim it. Soumya is also saying yes, he can claim. Tanu Vishwakarma is also saying he can claim. Until I receive, I cannot claim it. Correct. Because the condition was that you have to get it. Yes, sir, you can claim as it is on X work basis and it would be deemed that received by the recipient. So you're selling the Ishan, you're telling the answer from the circular. Before the circular, what was the thing? Before the circular, it was that you should have actually received it. ठीक है निधि ये टॉपिक है ना अपडेट्स में है स्टैट्यूटरी अपडेट्स जो आपको आएगा उसमें रहेगा मैं आपको समझा रहा हूँ ठीक है तो ये आपके स्टडी मटेरियल के मॉड्यूल में नहीं है जो स्टैट्यूटरी अपडेट्स बुक आएगी या फिर अपलोड होगा उसमें रहेगा ये since supplier responsibility end at factory gate itself property passes to buyer so he can claim property तो immediately pass नहीं हुआ है property gets passed when you actually received it I am giving you something right unless you receive it you cannot say I've received it correct so there was this tussle there was this confusion कि supplier ने तो supply बता दिया अब receiver ने उसको actual में receive नहीं किया so should he show has received or no that was the question so the issue was whether ITC can be claimed by the dealer only after the vehicles are physically received by the automobile dealers at his business premises, or ITC can be claimed on the date the vehicles are billed to him and handed over to the transporter. So that was the issue. Like how we ourselves having two viewers, few are saying yes, we can, few are saying we cannot. Same issue was there with all the automobile dealers. So they went to the government saying that should we claim it or no? The clarification came is in such a scenario, the property in the said goods can be considered to have been passed on to the dealer by the OEM upon handing over of the said goods to the transporter at his factory gate. So, government also said, bhai, ha, OEM, the property in the goods can be considered to have been passed by the OEM upon handing over of the said goods to the transporter at his factory gate, meaning thereby that the goods can be considered to have been delivered to the registered person. Like few people had given a justification very rightly that it shall be considered to have been delivered by the to the registered person. Though the transporter by the supplier at his factory gate and the supply of said goods can be considered to have been fructified at the factory gate of the OEM. Fructified मतलब हाँ complete हो चुका है. That is the meaning of fructified, saying that yes, that you can consider that the transaction is complete. when the property in the said goods is given to the transporter, because you will give to the transporter will get it to your place itself. The circular is saying that yes, in that case it can be considered, even though the goods may not have been physically received, it shall be considered that it is handed over, because the condition of 16(2)(b) says what? 16(2)(b) says that it can be availed when you actually received it. But the circular is saying, by in cases may you can consider that it is actually received, can be considered to have been received the said goods at the time such handing over of goods by the supplier to the transporter at his factory gate for the onward transmission to the said registered person. What will he do? The transporter will supply to the registered person. So you can consider. So ITC can be claimed on the date the vehicles are built and handed over to the transporter. Once it is built and handed over to the transporter, you can consider that it is received by the receiver. This is the condition of 16(2)(b). No registered person shall be entitled to credit of any ITC in respect of any supply of goods or services unless he has received the goods or services or both. So the said principle is applicable in respect of supply of other goods, not only in OEM, in any arrangement. So gist of this part is saying that wherever there is any arrangement, right, then when you are giving to a transporter and it is a X works basis, then it will be deemed that it is received by the recipient. It is also mentioned that as per the provisions of 16(1), a registered person is entitled to ITC only in respect of supply of goods or services which are used or intended to be used in the course of furtherance of business, which means what? The other one, we have another condition, the goods which is used for business only that you can claim. So goods which are used for non-business purposes, what will happen? Or goods which are lost, stolen, or destroyed. For that we can't get ITC. So supplier is given with good intention, is given to the transporter and he supplied it. अगर रास्ते में deviate हो गया that you are using it for your personal purposes, you are not using it for your business purpose, ITC तो मुझे मिलेगा as per circular? No. Circular is saying that I am giving you the credit with the true spirit that it will be reaching to you. If it doesn't reach to you, then you cannot claim the credit. Further, if the goods are lost, stolen, or destroyed on the way, still you will not get the credit. So there is a condition to that saying that supply once I've made deemed as received, but you should have used it for your business and used it in the right way. If not, then you will not be able to claim the credit. Okay. That is what this circular is clarifying. Circular number is circular number 241. Since supplier responsibility ends at factory gate itself, property passes to buyer, so he can claim. Correct, Miss P. That is what this circular is exactly saying. Very good, very good. Correct, Ishan. I understand. हिंदी में ठीक है. सो निधि क्या बोलता है, जब भी आप सप्लाई करते हो एक्स वर्क्स बेसिस पे, तो रिसीवर को फिजिकली रिसीव करने तक क्रेडिट क्लेम करने के लिए वेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा. सप्लायर ने सप्लाई कर दिया, इनवॉइस भेज दिया आपको, तो यू कैन क्लेम इट ओनली इन केस ऑफ अ एक्स वर्क्स. अगर एक्स वर्क्स नहीं है, इफ इट इज ऑन रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑन डिलीवरी बेसिस, तो ये सर्कुलर आप यूज नहीं कर सकते. वेरेवर इट इज एक्स वर्क्स बेसिस की आपको सप्लाई एक्स वर्क्स बेसिस पे है, तब आप क्रेडिट क्लेम कर सकते हो. लेकिन अगर सप्लाई करने के बाद आपने किसी पर्सनल यूज के यूज कर दिया, तो फिर आप क्रेडिट नहीं क्लेम कर सकते. और अगर रास्ते में कुछ लॉरी को कुछ हो गया, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में कुछ माल चोरी हो गए, तब भी आप क्लेम नहीं कर सकते हो, क्योंकि हमको दोनों कंडीशन साथ में पढ़ना है कि सेक्शन 17 के भी कंडीशंस पढ़ने हैं, 17(5) ब्लॉक क्रेडिट के, और 16(2) भी दोनों कंडीशन साथ में पढ़ना है. अगर दोनों कंडीशंस फुलफिल होते हैं, तब वी कैन क्लेम इट. What if the transportation, the goods gets destroyed? You cannot claim the credit. That is what exactly it's saying, that when it is lost, stolen, or destroyed, we cannot claim it. So abnormal loss, we cannot claim it. If it is normal loss, then we can claim it. Because like in case of chemicals, like in case of petroleum products, there is some normal loss, right? To that extent, we can claim it because that will be permitted. That has been established through Priyanshi through various case laws, not directly given under the law, but courts have held that normal loss, it is acceptable, so it can be claimed. if supplier is conceals the fact that it is used for non-business purposes and claims credit, then it is his liability to reverse it because department will do other analysis, but primary responsibility of the law says that the receiver will have to himself reverse the credit. Now, Divyanshi, did you understand now since I have told in multiple times? So received in lot provision would not apply, no, if transporter delivered in lot but supplier has delivered in full. There it will apply because this condition is there where it is X works basis. Ishan and everybody have to be careful wherever the contract is X works basis, only then this provision will apply, not otherwise. So in lot provision also, if it is X works basis, then if the transport delivers in lot but supplier has delivered in full, yeah, still you can claim it. Correct. Good observation. Yes, Divyanshi, are you clear now? Divyanshi, can you unmute so that it will be helpful to clarify what is your query? Yeah, with example. Okay. So what happens? I am a car manufacturer because they've used this only for a OEM. So I'm a car dealer. I'm a car manufacturer. Okay. Or say a bikes manufacturer because car example we have taken a bike manufacturer. Uh, TVS. TVS manufactures bikes and supplies it to the showrooms. Showrooms are who? They are the dealers. Okay. So when a vehicle manufacturer, that is TVS, manufactures and sells it, right? He will sell it, and these are transported in big trucks, and it takes times to deliver. It will take at least 2 to 3 days because it will be located in one state and it has to get distributed across various states, right? Now, say on the 30th of the month, I have dispatched the goods. The contract is X works, which means from my factory premises, my responsibility is getting over and the dealer will have to pick the vehicles. So I have dispatched the goods on 30th. It has reached on the 3rd because it takes 3 days and extra rain was coming. So it took extra days. On the 3rd, it has reached the dealer. Now, the dealer's question was, can I claim the input tax credit on the 30th of the last month or the 3rd? One of the conditions of input tax credit is to claim the credit, you should have actually received the goods, which we were discussing while dealing with section 16. So since that condition is not fulfilled on 30th, but it is fulfilled on which date? On the 3rd, because he has actually received it. So should he claim credit on 3rd, which was dispatched on the 30th was the question. Because uska 1 month ka credit extra lena padega. We will suffer it. So that's why the circular says once the goods have been dispatched on the X works basis, you can claim the credit on the 30th itself. You don't have to wait for the 3rd because ultimately it will reach to you. Might be it will reach on 2nd or 3rd or something like that. But since it will reach you and supplier's responsibility is completed, you will match the GSTR 2B and GSTR 3B. So once the supplier raises the invoice he will show it in the 3B in the GSTR 1 of the previous month. In your GSTR 2B also, it will appear in the previous month, which is on the 29th itself. So you can claim credit on the 29th itself, is what this circular is saying. Clear? Correct. The supplier can claim the credit only when the OEM files the return in 3B. Yes. So, like in this example, on the 29th, if he's dispatched, it will show in the, say, 29th of the March or the 29th of April. Let's see, 29th of April. 29th of April is supplied. So he will show it in the April month GSTR1 and he will file it in the 3B of the April month itself. I can claim it as a credit while filing because he will file his supplies GSTR1 on the 11th and I can see it on the 13th of April itself. So I can claim it in the April month itself, even though I have physically received in May because of this circular. Clear? Everything okay, but what if something happens to goods on transit? Then you will not get the credit, Dhanush. That will be the case anyways. Anyways, that will be the case. Suppose it was not X works basis and it is on actual receipt, right? If you don't receive it, then you will not make the payment. Yeah. Similarly, that way itself, when it is not on the cases where you have not actually received, you can anyways not claim the credit. Fine. So can we start with the problems? Like similarly, last class, how we had a Word and Excel, similar to that way, we will have a Word and Excel. Now you will have to work out because these questions are very much easy and relevant for you. We have discussed few of these questions, so you can definitely work on this. So if goods destroyed or lost in transport, then we will apply 17.5. Correct. 17.5, one of the conditions says, right, when goods lost, stolen or destroyed. So in that case, what will happen? It will appear in your GSTR 2B because supplier has supplied it. But you cannot claim the credit because you have not got the inputs. Yeah, the questions are visible. First is Vishnu Limited. Yeah. Please read through this question. It's a really a lengthy question, but it's okay. It's solvable. Answer is not that lengthier. This is a question for 10 marks. Yep. One question itself can be for 10 marks. Yes. Yeah, I think you started reading this and solving the answer. What is reading this further? Yeah. Before going to ITC, first is output. So a registered supplier of goods and services at Kolkata has furnished the following information for the month of February. He's made these transactions. Okay. And the company has following ITC. The rates of CGST, SGST, and IGST are 9%, 9%, and 18% respectively. Matlab CGST 9%, SGST 9%, and IGST is 18%. Both and inward and outward supplies are exclusive of taxes wherever applicable. All the conditions necessary have been fulfilled. The turnover of Vishnu Private Limited was 2.5 crores in the previous financial year, and compute the minimum GST payable in cash by Vishnu Private Limited for the month of February. Make suitable assumptions as required. So this is the sales details. Let me know what is the output tax payable. Yep, come on. What is the output tax payable? Please don't wait for me to work it because I want you all to work it, because in our previous classes we have done a lot of theoretical things. We have understood the concepts. Now it is for you to work it out. If you work it out, then I can present my answers and then we could cross check. Don't rely on me that yes, whatever workings I'll do, you will validate it. That is not how it should work. This is a problem solving session for you on IT. So you should start working on the problems on this. क्यों नहीं आ रहा है, क्या समझ में नहीं आ रहा है निधि? अगर नहीं आ रहा है तो आपको पहले करना चाहिए। Any answers? Okay, I'll start working on this. So this is our question. Vishnu Private Limited is a registered supplier. So we will start with writing as usual company's name and computation of GST payable on outward supplies, right? The company's name and computation of GST payable on outward supplies. Particulars CGST, SGST, IGST. Why? Because they have given separately CGST, SGST, and IGST. That is the reason we will also have three separate columns. Okay. If not, that was not required. But since they have given separately and they want us to calculate what is the respective taxes payable, इसलिए we will take it. Otherwise, you can just mention total. So based on your question, you have to strategize on what will be the strategy for what all columns you will mention here. Okay. Your value is mentioned. Should we have for value? Not required because we can mention it in the particulars itself. Right? Particulars, CGST, SGST, and IGST. Please scroll up question. Okay. Okay. Tanu Vishwakarma has got it. Sunil have got it. Very nice. Right. So now we can cross check if you have worked out. Very good. I'm very happy that you are able to work out and make an attempt. So first is intrastate supply of taxable goods, including 1 lakh received as advance in January. The invoice for the entire sale value is issued on 15th February. Arey yaar, 4 lakh rupees is the value of sale, interstate supply of taxable goods. Now this includes 1 lakh which is received in advance in January. The invoice for the entire sale value is issued on 15th February. So should you include 1 lakh or no? Interstate supply for goods for 4 lakh rupees. There you have to give up a note because will you take 4 lakh or 3 lakh? You have to give justification for it, right? We should include Miss P is saying include, Ishan is saying include. Why? Because of this note. So we will have a notes column here. There will mention a registered person, excluding composition supplier, has to pay GST on the outward supply of goods at the time of supply. That is date of issue of invoice or the latest date on which invoices ought to have been issued. Thus, the liability to pay tax on the advance received in January will also arise in the month of February when the invoice for the supply is actually issued. Because in case of supply of goods, you do not pay GST on the advance, right? You pay GST on invoice. That is the reason, even though 1 lakh was received in January, you have not considered that as a supply in January. So you will consider it now. Okay. So 4 lakh rupees on that CGST, 9%, 36,000 and SGST 36,000. Why? Because it is intrastate supply. Yeah. Correct. Correct. Everybody is right. Second point, purchase of goods from a composition dealer. So that will be the second point then. No. Why no? So we have directly gone to the third point. What happened to the second point then? It is purchase and that to purchase from a composition dealer. So should we pay any tax on that? No, we don't pay. Composition taxpayer himself will not charge GST, so we cannot claim any ITC as well. Correct. Composition dealer, no tax. Correct reasoning. So second case, not to be considered. Third case, services provided by way of labor contracts for repairing a single residential unit, otherwise than as part of a residential complex. It is an intrastate transaction. You are making a providing supply by way of labor contracts. So will you charge GST on this or no? Sir, it is exempt service. No GST will be charged. Okay. Where is it said, Baba? It is exempted. So it is supply by way of labor contracts. Okay. It is again a intrastate transaction. So on that, you will charge GST. So somebody was just saying that no, sir, it is exempted. So for that, we will give a note to service by way of pure labor contracts for construction, erection, commissioning, or installation of original works pertaining to a single residential unit, otherwise as a part of residential complex. Okay, is exempt. Labor contracts for repairing the thus taxable. So very important that services by way of pure labor contracts. Okay. For construction, erection, commissioning, or installation of original works. Very important. Original works pertaining to a single residential contract are exempt. This is for original works. But this, is he doing original works? No. He is doing a labor work. So labor contracts for repairing are exempted. Simple word, but which has a lot of implications. So this is not exempted. This is taxable. Somebody had pointed out saying that single residential contract है बस exempt कर दो. No, you have to check, Mrs. P, that is it a original contract or repairs contract. If it is original, then it will be exempt. If it is not original, then it is taxable. Got it? Awesome. Third, membership of a club availed for employees working in a factory. It is a intrastate transaction. So will it come in computation of GST payable? Yes, no. Again, confusion. It is a block credit. So why will you consider in your supply? You will not consider in your supply at all because it is a membership of a club which is availed for employees. It is not taxable. So it is a ITC, but ITC also will not claim because it's a block credit. Any case, we are only looking at supply, so we'll consider that. But What we could do is to avoid confusion. Suppose some lines are left out. Whatever is ITC will mention in ITC, whatever is supply will mention here. Okay. So we will have two columns, two tables, GST payable on outward supply and computation of input tax credit as well. So what is the opening ITC? Opening ITC is given here 57,000, 0 and 50,000. We will consider that here. Then purchase of goods from a composition dealer, ITC is not available. So we have not taken it rightly. Then other ITC was membership of a club. Membership of a club is a block credit. So we have not taken credit. So we are going in the order in which the question is given. If it is ITC, I'll mention down. What is, if it is supply, I'll mention it on the top. So we are till here, membership of a club. Next, goods transport services received from a GTA. GTA has exercised option to pay tax at 12%. It is an interstate transaction for 2 lakh rupees. So it is a supply or a purchase or ITC. Purchase, so ITC available. Purchase but taxable under RCM. Purchase ITC available. क्यों RCM लगेगा? Good question. So firstly, it is purchase. So I will show it under ITC. Goods purchase received. Now, should you claim credit on 2 lakhs at 12% or is it RCM? We have taken from a GTA, right? We have taken from a GTA, you're right. RCM. Okay. In a GTA, we understood through a chart that if a GTA RCM is applicable, then what will be the rate? It will be 5%. But here, is he charging 5% or 12%? If he's opted for 12%, it means what? ITC. Correct. But why ITC? Because there are two rates under GTA, 5% and 12%. So if the supplier is charging 5%, then he cannot claim the ITC. If he is charging 12%, he can claim ITC and even we can claim ITC. So it is a ITC available scenario, so you can claim it. And it is not under reverse charge because if he is charging zero, then we will pay under reverse charge. If he is charging 12%, right? He has exercised option to pay tax at 12%. If he exercises the option, then he will pay it. Okay. So input tax credit is available for the services received from the GTA as the same are used in the course or furtherance of business. Okay. So it is a interstate transaction. So on 2 lakhs, 9%. Okay. 24,000. Sorry, 12%. 2 lakhs on that 12%. 24,000 is the credit available. Clear? So GTA, be careful. They can confuse you. 12% we can claim. 5% also we can claim if the supplier is charging it. If the supplier is not charging it, then we will pay and then claim. Fine. Next, interstate services provided by way of training in sports. 10,000 rupees. Firstly, you are providing it. So you will show it over here. Saying that services provided by way of training in recreational activities relating to sports. Mrs. T saying exempt. Ishan is saying taxable. Rajiv exempt. Exempt, taxable, exempt. 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 Okay. Not 12AA, 12AB. Okay. But Does 12 AA or AB is required for this? No, right? Services by way of training in sports is exempt under GST. Correct, Ishan. Service by way of training in sports is exempt under GST only if provided by a charitable entities registered under 12AA or 12AB of the Income Tax Act. Thus, in the given case, it is taxable because if you are under art and recreational, then it is exempt. But for sports, you have to be a charitable entity under registered under 12AA or AB. You are not, you're a private limited, so you cannot claim that exemption. It is taxable. Right. Nitty gritties, anything what we learn in exemption applies here also because this is not exemption, but input tax credit related question. But whatever you study in the whole of the questions will be covered in these problems. Okay. Next. Interstate security services provided to Bharat Higher Secondary School for their annual day function organized in common auditorium outside the school campus for rupees 15,000 rupees. Exempt. Taxable. Exempt. Provided to educational institution FCM forward charge taxable out of school boundary. Okay, because it is provided to higher secondary school. So what, Tanu, are you saying provided? So it is exempted. Okay, let us see. So a lot of confusion again. So we have to write a note. Security services provided to Bharat Higher Secondary School for annual day function organized outside the school campus will be taxable as only the security services provided within the premises of the higher secondary school are exempt. So only when you security service are exempt, definitely supply of manpower to a higher secondary school. But when if it is supplied for any activities within the school, okay, if it is outside the school, it is taxable. So it is a interstate security services, so that will become taxable. Correct. Tanu, provided to higher secondary school, absolutely right. But you're changing your answer now. But it is not provided for within the school premises. It is outside. That's why it is taxable. 18%, yes, it will be taxable at 18% because the rates they have given, no? Rates are 9%, 9%, 18%, no special rate given for anything. So we have to consider this rate itself, except GTA, because for GTA we have to remember the rate. For others, it will all be what is the rate which is given. Right? Next, inputs to be received in 4 lots, out of which second lot was received during the month. So ITC related query. So we'll go to ITC and see. No ITC claimable as all lots not received. Okay. Inputs to be received in 4 lots, out of which second lot was received during the month. In case of good receipts in lots, ITC can be taken only upon receipt of last lot. Perfect. Perfect. You're all given the correct answer. So in this case, you can claim it only when you receive the last lot. So all the pointers have been covered. Now we have to see what is the total output tax payable and how we can claim the ITC on the maximum manner, because compute the minimum GST which is payable. That is the question. Compute the minimum GST payable in cash by Vishnu Private Limited for the month of February. So total sales is how much? Total output tax payable, sorry. It is total of this 36 plus 9, 45,000 for CGST and SGST. Generally, your CGST and SGST should be same. If it is wrong, it means you have written something somewhere wrongly. Okay. C will be equal to S in terms of totals, both in case of outward as well as input, because half of taxes you consider, correct? And ITC of IGST is output tax payable of IGST is 4,500. Computation of input, various ITC we have, including opening balance, because it will all get added. That's why you can consider opening balance plus addition of all of this. Yeah. But credit is not same because opening balance itself is different. Anything claimed during the month, had it been there, then it would have been same. But in this case, it is not the same because your opening, there is some difference. Okay, opening CGST, SGST have completely utilized CGST's line. That is definitely possible. I'll show you how you utilize. Based on that, you will see that CGST credit balance may be different, SGST credit balance may be different. Okay, so this is the thing. Question is over. Question says the turnover of Vishnu Private Limited was 2.5 crores in the previous financial year. So what is the implication of this? One person paid out of electronic cash ledger. Is it applicable based on previous year's turnover? Cannot pay tax or compensation, correct? That is on point. We don't have to pay anyways pay because the rate we have calculated 9%. For registration, no. Does it have implication anywhere on our computation? No. So it's just an information which is not relevant for us. Sometimes you get such things wherein which is not relevant to us. So this has no relevance to us. There will be no implications. Okay. So you can simply ignore it. Okay. Now let's maximize this screen and compute the input tax credit. Okay. So total output supplies we have, all the nodes we have. This is my output. This is my ITC. Now I have to utilize the ITC in a smart manner. So computation of minimal GST payable will be as follows. GST payable. How much is the firstly GST payable? I will draw from the table number 1, which is 45,000, 45,000, and 4,500. Correct? Now you tell me how will you utilize the ITC? You have ITC of 57,000 and 74,000. Utilize the ITC in the optimum manner so that the objective is you have to pay less. Correct? So this is a practical case where the client comes to you and he says that utilize the ITC in a manner so that I have to pay less. That is how the client's interest is. How will you give him a solution? So how will you utilize the ITC of 57,000, 74,000 against this liability? Permutation combination. Correct. Do the permutation combination and tell me how much is the GST payable. Correct. 45,000 utilize out of 57,000 for CGST. Okay. No, that's not right. Where did we get that 45,000, 45,000, 4,000? Apne workings se na? We have done this workings. Just now I had shown you. This was our tax liability outward, and that is what is your GST payable. First rule is you have to utilize the IGST credit. You cannot utilize the CGST. First, utilize the IGST for paying the IGST liability. Okay. That is the first thing you do. Then you utilize the IGST with CGST or SGST in any order. So after you utilize IGST for the IGST liability, now you tell me for the balance what will you do? Out of the ITC of IGST, 4,500 to IGST, correct? Correct. Remaining 45,000 to CGST and SGST from correct. Correct, Ishan. You're right. Your approach is right because IGST is a small liability. Major liability is CGST and SGST. Now you have lot of IGST and lesser amount than that in the SGST. So what will happen? Your SGST, how will you utilize? Can you utilize CGST credit against SGST? You cannot. So you utilize full IGST credit because whatever CGST liability is there that we can offset with the CGST liability. Correct? तो हम क्या करेंगे फर्स्ट यूटिलाइजेशन बताएंगे कि ऑर्डर क्या है ओके आई विल गिव यू द फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस हियर so that the examiner also should know what preference you are giving this. First is ye, which is 4,500. Which credit are you utilizing it? 4,500 का liability है हम पे कर रहे हैं आईटीसी से कौन से आईटीसी से 4,500 का आईटीसी विच आईटीसी आईजीएसटी का आईटीसी करेक्ट बैलेंस कितना बचा है 45,000 माइनस 4,500 यहाँ पे जीरो हो गया है सो फ्रॉम 74,000 हाउ मच यू हैव यूटिलाइज 4,500 69,500 आपके पास है दिस 69,500 इज द क्रेडिट ऑफ IGST IGST we know that bucketing right the chart which I had shown you IGST can be utilized for payment of IGST first and then अगर आपका IGST liability जीरो हो गया ना यहाँ पे IGST liability is zero here. So less, okay. minimum GST payable in cash will be zero. So we have utilized the IGST का credit. अभी IGST का ही credit जो है we will utilize for SGST. जो 69,500 है उसमें से 45,000 यहाँ पे चला जाएगा. So this is the second preference. You are again utilizing the credit of IGST itself because IGST का credit है. IGST का credit पूरा exhaust होना चाहिए. So after this also we have balance of 25,500. Correct? So this will become preference number 3. Again IGST का credit to the extent of 24,500. So 74,000 का जो credit है पूरा utilize हो चुका है. You have to utilize exhaust IGST before moving to CGST. Right? तो यहाँ पे IGST का credit exhaust हो चुका है. Next is you will utilize ITC of CGST. क्यों भाई? क्योंकि 45,000 CGST पेबल था, उसमें से liability of SGST and IGST is completed. बैलेंस कितना बचा है? 20,500. Yes, you're right, Soumya. 20,500 you will utilize from CGST credit and minimum GST payable will be zero. Is there any other option? Yes, दूसरा ऑप्शन है that you do not utilize the IGST first towards completely SGST, you utilize for CGST, right? तो फिर क्या होगा? You will end up paying cash in the SGST column. Got it? So your utilization, आप किसको कहां पे यूटिलाइज करते हो, that is very important. So if you utilize IGST, suppose this is the correct position. Second position, I will again consider what will be the wrong position so that you will learn from the wrong things. So you will utilize IGST first यहाँ पे. Correct? You are utilizing IGST पूरा. Next is you will utilize IGST over here. Okay? This is your GST payable. This is less ITC. अगर आपने IGST का क्रेडिट यहाँ पे यूज कर लिया है तो बैलेंस विल बी 24,500 in the SGST portion. So here how much will be the balance payable? Balance payable of IGST is zero because 4,500 minus 4,500, and same with CGST also. But in SGST what will happen? 45,000 minus 24,500. Sorry. So this 20,500 will become payable. इसके लिए credit है आपके पास? Can you utilize this 20,500? No. So what will happen? You will end up, you will have to pay from cash ledger. मतलब आपको कैश डिपॉजिट करना पड़ेगा टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ 20,500, विच इज नॉट अ गुड सिचुएशन क्योंकि आपका क्रेडिट है सीजीएसटी का, तो फिर उसे ऑप्टिमल यूज कीजिए. यूज इन अ मैनर इन विच द अलोकेशन इज अवेलेबल. Got it? So second option is also there, but this will not be a good suggestion. Can you once show the working of output tax liability? Sure. This is the workings of output tax liability with the working notes. So we have used the credit for whole 100%. Will rule 86B. 86B will not be applicable, no Ishant here, because each month the turnover should be more than 50 lakh rupees. So 86B will not apply here. There is a condition. It doesn't apply to everybody. It applies only to such persons whose liability is more than 50 lakh rupees. So we have to show more than one situation to apply ITC as shown in the module. No, just one situation, optimal situation. In your workings, you can do it to decide what is optimal, but only just the optimal you show in your answers, that should be sufficient. By working out a lot of questions, you will get to know which will be the optimal option. If this question, it was 2.5 crores previous financial year, doesn't matter because monthly, this month I should pay, I should have turnover more than 50 lakhs. Just previous year's turnover doesn't matter. That's not the criteria at all. Clear? Any more questions on this question? Okay. So we'll go to the next question. Question number two. Just five previous year's turnover. He's my previous year turnover. It could have been in 1 month or multiple months. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Second part, somebody needs the answer. Okay. Just note this down. What does services by way of original work means? I've given in the notes, right? In the note number here, wherein it is original construction. That is called as original work. I've given here, right? See, construction, erection, commissioning, or installation of original works. Matlab, the building is not there, you're doing it now. That is called construction. Okay, repair is not original work. So any kind of alteration you do, that is not original work. So when it is being built for the first time, that is called as original work. So can excess ITC of IGST utilized to be set off for ITC for of SGST? Yes, excess ITC of IGST can be used to set off ITC. You not ITC output of SGST. 57,000 कैसे आया मैडम? टोटल ओपनिंग आईटीसी दिया है ना क्वेश्चन में, वो ही है। यहाँ पे तो टोटल है, टोटल तो ऊपर से नीचे तक ही होगा ना, तो ओपनिंग आईटीसी का जो टोटल है वही है। In filing it is not allowed. What is not allowed? Yeah, this question and answer also will be uploaded, Johan. I'll ensure that whatever we do in today's class also I'll upload so it becomes easier for you. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कैश लेजर क्या होता है? जो आप कैश से पे करते हैं उसे कहते हैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कैश लेजर। जो क्रेडिट में आता है, जैसे यहाँ पे हमने परचेज किया वो क्रेडिट में आ रहा है, उसे कहते हैं क्रेडिट लेजर। एंड जो हम कैश में पे करते हैं, बैंक के थ्रू पे करते हैं, उसे कहते हैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कैश लेजर। ITC of IGST to be set off towards output of SGST. In filing, it is not allowed. It is allowed. Definitely, it is allowed. It is manually, you will have to enter it. If it is automatically given, you can manually write it. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. Please read through the question. We'll take a break of 10 minutes. In the meantime, you can go through the question and see if you can answer this. Okay. So the second question uh, is on output tax payable. ABC and Company is a chartered accountancy firm, has its office in Bengaluru. It is registered under GST in the state of Karnataka. In the month of April, it supplied statutory audit services to Dhruv manufacturers of Karnataka for 1,20,000 rupees. Further, it charged 1,60,000 rupees for its ITR services provided to the recipients located within Karnataka in the said month. It also received 1,80,000 for internal audit services provided to a client registered in Mumbai, Maharashtra. All the amounts are exclusive of GST. Messrs. ABC and Company has also provided the following information regarding the expenses incurred in the month of April for the purpose of providing taxable services, membership fees, rent paid to landlord, professional fees paid to Jamna Prasad, for professional services availed, TDS of 20,000 is deducted under section 194J. Air conditioning purchased for office purpose. This is the ITC. Okay, Ishan has already computed output tax. Very nice. Landlord did not upload his GSTR1 within the prescribed time, resulting in the GST amount not being reflected in GSTR2B. Other suppliers have fully uploaded their GSTR1 within the prescribed time limit, and GST amount is reflected in GSTR2B of ABC and Co. Compute the net GST payable in cash by ABC and Company for the month of April. Rates are 9%, 9%, 18% respectively, assuming that all the other conditions of utilization of ITC are fulfilled. So based on this, very easy to compute output tax payable, correct? And ITC is also simple then. So if your ITC available, good, Ishan. CGST and SGST 21,000, okay. Others, good. Okay, so what are we supposed to do in this question? Compute the net GST payable in cash. Okay. Firstly, outward supplies. Messrs. ABC and Co. Computation of net GST payable for the month of April. Okay. Now we are computing the GST payable for the month of April. Particulars, here value of supply I've given because here it is required. There are multiple values involved. So I'm giving you the separate column for value of supply. So you'll have to decide based on each question what columns you have to give or no. As I had already suggested, give sufficient space so that if any extra column has to be added, you can insert it. First is intrastate supply of statutory audit services. What is the value of supply? 1,20,000 rupees. Correct? 1,20,000 उसने supply किया है. Intrastate supply would mean that he will charge CGST and SGST. Next is it charged intrastate ITR filing services for which it received 1,60,000 rupees. It is intrastate supply, again CGST and SGST. Then it also received 1,80,000 for internal audit services. Interstate internal audit services, since place of supply is location of the recipient, which is Mumbai, right? So place of supply भी आ गया है यहाँ पे 1,80,000, and for which you will charge 32,400 as the 9% GST on 18% GST on 1,18,000 rupees, because it is IGST. So 9 plus 9 makes it 18%. So my total output tax liability will be Clear? 25,200 each and 32,500. So only one person has responded. Chauhan, what about IGST liability? Right? This is the IGST liability. Now, tell me what is the input tax credit? Good afternoon, sir. IGST payable 32,500, CGST, SGST. You're right, Gulika. Sorry, computer forgot to send 32,500. No problem. Answer is correct. Very nice. Next, what is the ITC available in his hands? So we'll compute ITC in a separate table. Computation of ITC that can be availed. 21,000 each is what Farhan is saying. Is there any opening ITC? No, no information is mentioned. So opening ITC is not there here. What is the first item? ITC on membership fees paid. Membership fees के ऊपर credit है. We can claim the credit, no? 2,000, 2,000 each. Correct, Ishan. No, it is not obligation to pay, no statutory obligation. So no ITC available. Correct. We mention ITC on membership as a club is block credit, except when such services are provided by an employer to its employees under a statutory obligation. Here, there is no statutory obligation mentioned, so there is no credit of this. Next is office rent paid to the landlord. 3,850, 3,850. This I can claim, no? This is not block credit. Yes, 17.5 is block credit, Johan. Right. Correct. No ITC available on membership fees. Ranveer Singh, your answer is correct. Good. So people have reached not available because not file GSTR 1. Correct. Correct. Because GSTR 2B में credit आना चाहिए. No ITC since the supplier did not upload the details of invoice in his GSTR 1 and said details are not being reflected in 2B of the recipient. Simple. जो question में दिया है उसी को लिखना है यहाँ पे. You'll get marks for this. Third, professional fees paid. Professional fees paid to Mr. Jamna Prasad, who is a practicing chartered accountant for professional services availed. TDS of 20,000 is deducted. 18,000 GST and then we have deducted 20,000 rupees. So how much will be the ITC for this? 2,000. Okay. So Nidhi Vishwakarma is saying 18,000 minus 20,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees TDS deduct किया है फिर GST 18,000. So 20,000 minus 18,000 rupees 2,000 rupees. Correct, Nidhi? फुल 18,000 कैन बी क्लेम. करेक्ट. टीडीएस तो इनकम टैक्स के अंदर है. ठीक है. सो टीडीएस इनकम टैक्स के अंदर डिडक्ट किया है. उसने हमको 18,000 का सीजीएसटी और एसजीएसटी चार्ज किया. हम उसके ऊपर क्लेम करेंगे ना. So there is no question of TDS implication. ITC on services used in the course or furtherance of business is allowed. तो हमको 18,000 मिलेगा. टीडीएस का इधर कुछ इम्प्लीकेशन नहीं है। टीडीएस इज अंडर इनकम टैक्स एक्ट, जीएसटी इज अंडर द जीएसटी लॉ। नेक्स्ट इज एयर कंडीशनर। ऑफिस के लिए सीए साहब ने एयर कंडीशनर किया है। कंपनी विल पे जीएसटी अंडर आरसीएम। किसके ऊपर? अमेजिंग। फुल आईटीसी कैन बी क्लेम एंड कंपनी विल पे जीएसटी अंडर आरसीएम। वेयर इज द आरसीएम, सौम्या? Rajveer is saying full ITC. Okay. It's a capital asset. No, can you claim asset in even under income tax? They give depreciation. It is not allowed as an expense. So can you claim full GST? Assuming non-depreciation, assuming depreciation is not claimed on the ITC. Correct. If depreciation is claimed, no. So we can make assumption that yes, depreciation is not claimed. So that should be our mentioning here. ITC on goods used in the course of furtherance of business allowed. Yes, you can write here saying that assuming that depreciation is not claimed on the GST portion. So total eligible ITC is total of this 21,000 each, which has been rightly said. So IGST 32,400, 4,200, 4,200. ये क्या है अभी यहाँ पे? Okay. So we have the ITC of how much? 21,000 each. Now we have to utilize this against the liability. करेक्ट। लेस आईटीसी रेफर वर्किंग नोट क्या हम सिंपल सा कर लेंगे यहाँ पे दैट आईजीएसटी क्रेडिट फर्स्ट वी विल यूटिलाइज फर्स्ट विल पे आईजीएसटी और वी विल नॉट पे आईजीएसटी बिकॉज we do not have IGST credit. CGST will utilize for CGST. Sorry, first is here, then it is here. We'll use IGST and then the CGST. So balance tax payable will be this much. सिंपल ईयर क्योंकि यहाँ पे आईजीएसटी का क्रेडिट नहीं है सो यू यूटिलाइज सी विद सी एंड एस विद एस सो आवर नेट जीएसटी पेबल विल बी दिस मच अमाउंट इफ यू कैन चेंज द way you can utilize CGST for CGST first because CGST has to be utilized with CGST first then with IGST. So यहाँ पे credit कम है than the liability, so this is the only option available. I went through professional fees under RCM. No, professional fees is not under RCM. Only lawyer fees, advocate fees is under RCM, not the professional fees. Okay. ब्लॉक क्रेडिट एसी और नो? नहीं, एसी पे ब्लॉक क्रेडिट नहीं है। 17.5 में एसी के ऊपर तो आपको क्रेडिट मिलेगा इवन इफ द डेप्रिसिएशन इज गिवन अंडर इनकम टैक्स ईयर ऑन ईयर, लेकिन जीएसटी में तो आपको पूरा क्रेडिट मिलेगा। पर्सनल यूज नहीं ना, ऑफिस में डाला है। ऑफिस यूज के लिए जब यूज करते हो आप दैट इज ऑफिस यूज, नॉट फॉर पर्सनल यूज। अगर घर पे एसी लगा दिया तो फिर पर्सनल यूज रहेगा। डेप्रिसिएशन पॉइंट चौहान, आई एम सेइंग इनकम टैक्स में क्या होता है, आप कभी कुछ असेट खरीदते हो तो आप उसको पीएनएल में डालते हो या बैलेंस शीट में डालते हो? कैपिटलाइज करके बैलेंस शीट में डालते हैं, करेक्ट। बैलेंस शीट में फिर उसका ईयर ऑन ईयर डेप्रिसिएशन होता है, लेकिन जीएसटी में आपको पूरा क्रेडिट परचेज करने पर ही मिल जाता है। ठीक है, दैट इज द पॉइंट आई एम सेइंग कि आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए कि इनकम टैक्स में तो हम डेप्रिसिएशन हर सालों साल थोड़ा 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 करते हैं, लेकिन जीएसटी में आईटीसी को आपको थोड़ा थोड़ा करने की जरूरत नहीं है। आईटीसी को आप पूरा परचेज के साल में ही क्लेम कर सकते हो। ठीक है, क्लियर है यहां तक? गो टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 3। So if I have a doubt that many people purchase assets for house with their business account online. So can they avail ITC? No, they cannot avail ITC. Any asset which is used for business only that can be claimed. Yeah, what is your question, Mr. MA? What will be the entry for following case in the books of accounts? Oh, the GST received or paid to supplier or from the customer. If you receive from the supplier, it will be purchases account debit, IGST credit debit, CGST debit to party account. And if the TDS has to be deducted, two TDS to party account. That will be the entry for GST received or paid to the supplier. And for customers, it will be customer account debit to sales account to CGST payable to SGST payable. Does a freelancer get ITC if registered under GST? Yes. If he's registered, he's doing business, he will get the credit. Of course, other conditions has to be satisfied. Why income tax is calculated on previous year in assessment year and GST calculated? So income tax is following that. GST is calculating the current financial year. So it is like that. People also purchase mobile in business name but use for personal purpose can be avail credit. If it is for business, you can avail. If it is for personal, you cannot avail. Okay. Question number 3. Vishwanath is a registered supplier in Karnataka and has provided the following details for supply of one machine. Okay. So this is the price. Now calculate. He has supplied three machines. Now, okay. Compute the minimum net GST payable from this. करेक्ट निधि टुडे इज द लास्ट क्लास ऑफ आईटीसी जो भी आपको आईटीसी का क्वेश्चन है आप पूछ सकते हो तो ये है डिटेल्स ಐದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡು Even if the bank charges GST, bank charges account debit, CGST debit, SGST debit to bank account. Every transaction in accounts will have an entry. No doubt about it. This question will open up our mind to understand what should be the sale price. This is basically from the valuation. Section 15 valuation, what you have read, you have to apply that provision, then you will understand this. Payment entry, Mr. MA. All transactions in bank will be through a payment entry. Other than bank and cash are through a journal entry. Output tax, Ishan has calculated 25,218 as CGST and SGST and IGST 8406. Good. You are really fast. You have to be this fast to get the correct and save time in our exams. Come on. Others cheer up. What is the output tax payable? Yeah. Others, what is the GST payable? Net GST after utilization of ITC. Different answer. Okay, good attempt, Chauhan Tej. You made an attempt. We'll see. I'm not saying that your answer is wrong or right. Good, you made an attempt. आंसर देखेंगे हम तब पता चलेगा. 86,600. ओके, वो क्या है? सुनील, इज इट CGST SGST? बिकॉज यू हैव टू डू ईच कैटेगरी वाइज. आपको ITC भी कैटेगरी वाइज दिया गया है. सेल प्राइस इज 88,300. ओके. 86,600. ओके. 86,600 इन टोटल. ओ माय गॉड. ठीक है. सो नाउ लेट अस सी व्हाट विल बी द सेल प्राइस. सब वो हो जाएगा, देन इट इज ओनली मैथमेटिकल कैलकुलेशन, राइट? सो आई विल हेल्प यू विद द सेल प्राइस. नहीं, सेल प्राइस तो गलत है आपका. ओके, विश्वनाथ लिमिटेड. सेल प्राइस इज क्रिटिकल इन दिस क्वेश्चन. अगर सेल प्राइस गलत हो गया तो ऑलमोस्ट सब कुछ गलत हो जाएगा. 88,400, नो. So first, Vishwanath Limited, computation of value of taxable supply, particulars or amount. फर्स्ट इज क्या दिया है स्टार्टिंग में, लिस्ट प्राइस, करेक्ट। लिस्ट प्राइस कितना है, लिस्ट प्राइस इज 80,000 रुपीज, 95,000। Let us see, let us see, just give me some time. This is the list price. Add the taxes which is levied by local authority. लोकल अथॉरिटी ने क्या किया, टैक्सेस लेवी किया, कितना वैल्यू, 6,000 रुपीज, राइट। देन वी विल डू ऑल द एडिशन, राइट, फिर सब्ट्रैक्शन एक साथ कर देंगे। Then there is packing expenses. Packing expenses कितना है, 4,000 rupees, right? Next, subsidy from NGO. वैल्यूएशन में हमने पढ़ा है कि सब्सिडी इज एक्सक्लूडेड और इंक्लूडेड। दिस इज द क्रिटिकल एस्पेक्ट। Vishwanath has received 5,000 as price link subsidy from a NGO on sale of each machine. आप कितने मशीन भेजोगे उस प्राइस पे हम 5,000 रुपीज आपको देंगे। And what is Vishwakarma Vishwanath Limited done? The price of 80,000 is after considering that subsidy. मतलब उसका सेल प्राइस 85,000 था, उसको सब्सिडी मिल रहा है बिकॉज 5,000 विल बी गिवन बाय दिस एनजीओ, सो ही इज सेलिंग एट 80,000 रुपीज। मतलब उसने क्या किया, सेल प्राइस को कम कर दिया है। Will this subsidy be a allowable deduction or no? If it is from a government, then excluded. But this is not a government, correct? It is from a NGO, correct? इसलिए इसको ऐड करना पड़ेगा। सब्सिडी फ्रॉम एनजीओ, वी हैव टू ऐड इट। Subsidy from NGO, subsidy received from a non-government authority and which is directly linked to the price, the same is to be included in the value of supply. Now, why are we adding this? Because it is mentioned in the question that the price of 80,000 is after considering the subsidy. अच्छा, जो वैल्यू है उसने सब्सिडी कंसिडर करके लिस्ट प्राइस डाला है, वरना उसका लिस्ट प्राइस 85,000 था। उसको एनजीए ने बोला आप जो भी सेल करोगे आप 80,000 पे सेल करो, जो भी आपका 5,000 लॉस है हम पे करेंगे। तो उसने लिस्ट प्राइस घटा दिया, क्योंकि लिस्ट प्राइस के बेसिस पे सामने वाला खरीदेगा, करेक्ट। तो उसने सब्सिडी आ रहा है तो इसलिए उसने रिस्क प्राइस घटा दिया है, इसीलिए हम इसको ऐड कर रहे हैं बिकॉज इट इज नॉट अ परमिटेड डिडक्शन। अगर वही सब्सिडी गवर्नमेंट से आता तो देन वी वुड हैव नॉट एडेड एनीथिंग, लेकिन इस केस में सब्सिडी एनजीओ से आ रहा है तो उसे ऐड करना पड़ेगा, 80 को 85,000 में लाना पड़ेगा। समझ गए आप? यस फरहान, एक्सक्लूडेड इफ इट इज रिसीव फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट, राइट। सो दिस इज द टोटल एडिशंस। नाउ हम इसका डिडक्शन करेंगे। डिस्काउंट है at how much, 2% of the list price of the machine, even though we are considering 95,000, इसका 2% नहीं करेंगे because the discount is not on the total value, the discount is 2% of the list price of the machine and it is recorded in the invoice. उसका क्या मतलब है, the condition says this should be recorded in the invoice, only then you will get a deduction, that is what section 15 says. तो इसको कम करेंगे तो 93,004 आएगा, नॉट 96,600। सुनील कुमार, 90,600 नहीं है। लिस्ट प्राइस इज 85,000 नहीं, लिस्ट प्राइस इज 80,000 ना, लिस्ट प्राइस तो उन्होंने 80,000 दिया है। सो 2% ऑन द डिस्काउंट इज ऑन द लिस्ट प्राइस एंड लिस्ट प्राइस इज क्लियरली गिवन। I'm saying 85,000 was his costing for him to sell it. Because of the subsidy, he's reduced already list price and discount is on the list price only. So you will reduce 2% on the list price, not on the value which is added. So फिर on 95,000 you should do 2%, by 85,000, correct? So it will be on the list price, and since the list price is 80,000, you have to deduct it on 80,000 only. Are you able to digest this? Correct, Soumya? 93,400. Rajveer Ray, क्लियर हुआ आपको? आई थिंक यू आर सेइंग 93,400, यू आर सेइंग 88,400. Correct, correct. So, yeah, discount deduction, very important, right? Everything you have to consider. Okay. So from this, we have to calculate what is the tax payable. Now, due, we know the sale price. इसी को लेके जीएसटी चार्ज करेंगे. During the month of February, Vishwanath supplied 3 machines to intrastate customers and 1 machine to interstate customer. तो sale of machine लेंगे. Correct. The second tax levied by local authority we will add in value because the valuation rule says that any value which is other than CGST, any taxes other than CGST, SGST, and IGST should be added. Municipal taxes, any local taxes, anything of that matter should be added. So you have to add it. Intra-state sales हो गया. At least sale value you can calculate and tell me. C and S 25,218. Okay. And what is I? Others, what is the C and S payable? Gross. Reduction we will see later on. At least gross. 16,812. Okay. I don't think that is correct, Sohan, because how many machines is he selling? Read the question properly. Okay, Almaz, IGST is 16,812. How much is CGST and SGST? Net GST payable 14,000. You're saying after deduction. Okay. So 3 machines at 9%, 25,218, right? And interstate supply, right? You were also correct, Tej Prakash. This is the output tax payable, right? Now we'll do computation of ITC, right? अपने पास ITC already है. There is a opening balance of ITC of 18,000, 4,000, and 26,000 rupees. Now he has purchased intrastate inputs for 1,20,000 exclusive of GST for supplying the above 4 machines during the month. He has taken only one input for 1,20,000 rupees. ठीक है? On 1,20,000 rupees, 9% CGST, 9% SGST. Okay? That is 10,800 each. Clear है? So मेरा total ITC कितना हुआ? 28,800, 14,800 and 26,000 rupees. नो अभी इसको आपको लायबिलिटी के साथ ऑफसेट करना है. नाउ वी हैव जस्ट डन 2 questions on ITC utilization. Now you utilize it in a best possible manner and tell me how much will be the GST payable, minimum GST payable. One thousand. Divya is saying 1,000. 4,802. Julie Kumari, somewhere close. Right. Ishan, looks like your answer is correct. Nil in cash, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता है. Your answer is wrong. सोमेश, आपका आंसर भी रॉन्ग है. Oops. Neeraj, little close. Somya looks like correct. Good, good. I'm seeing a lot of people making an attempt. Divya, नहीं, थोड़ा correction है. So, first set of IGST credit with IGST liability. Correct? IGST credit with IGST liability. We have credit of 26,000, liability of 16,802. इसको यूटिलाइज कर लीजिए यहाँ पे. बैलेंस कितना है? 26,000 minus 16,812, which is 9. Just show this. Question तो अपने पता है ना अभी. So we have to only offset this. 9,188. So what will I do? I will utilize this 9,188 with the SGST liability. Why SGST not CGST? Because CGST में credit ज़्यादा है, SGST में कम है. So I will utilize SGST, utilize the ITC of IGST for SGST first. Then step 3 is utilization of CGST credit with CGST liability. 25,218 only I can utilize. मेरे पास credit ज़्यादा है, liability कम है. So I can utilize to the extent of 25,218. Correct? Then step 4 is I will utilize this SGST credit 14,800. उसमें कितना है मेरा liability? My liability is 25,218. Correct? Out of that, I have got the credit from IGST 9,188 and my credit is 14,800. So I will utilize fully. Correct? 14,800. So my total utilization of credit is this. Okay. So my balance tax payable will be 1,230. One person had given the correct answer. Yes, Divya, your answer is right. 9,188, 3,000, lot of question, 4,000, 1,000. Least amount payable will be 1,230. So this will be the correct answer. And the balance in the credit ledger, which can be carried forward, is 3,582, which is utilization of ITC. Balance can be utilized for the next month. Okay. What was the mistake you realized that you did? Because this is not the first question, this is the third question on ITC which we are working out, which means that, and only one person got a correct answer, which means we need to work out. There's nothing to get discouraged. We need to work out a lot and see how do we offset the credit, because most of the people who practice or file the returns, they may also not know it because it's all automated in the system and they just go according to that. But this manual intervention we have to do. If we understand it over here, we will be good GST filers. We'll be able to file the credit in a proper way and we will be able to provide value addition to the client. Because if you make the client pay less amount, they will be more than happy, right? You had added 3582. No, you should not add. If we offset CGST first, then IGST not permitted, Chauhan. IGST आपको first utilize करना ही पड़ेगा. The main thing is IGST has to get fully exhausted and then CGST and SGST. After IGST set off, I went to CGST. Correct. So you have to see the numbers of what is the output and what is the input, then use it, because the question will always want you to optimize the credit. If the credit is there, you should utilize it to the best extent. Now clear. Good. That is the ultimate objective of doing similar questions but in a different manner so we can you understand it completely. If IGST more than IGST first, yes, even if IGST is less than IGST, still IGST will be first. लास्ट वाला फिर से एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, आईजीएसटी का क्रेडिट. ठीक है. तो नंबर्स यहीं पे रखते हैं, मैं आपको स्केलिंग के थ्रू बता देता हूँ. न्यू डिवाइस इसको भी यूज करेंगे. तो आपको नंबर्स कहाँ से आए पता चल गया ना, आउटपुट और इनपुट यू हैव अंडरस्टूड. करेक्ट. या उसमें भी डाउट है? करेक्ट. आईजीएसटी का आउटपुट और इनपुट आप समझ गए हो. करेक्ट. आउटपुट और इनपुट समझ गए हो. नेक्स्ट इज, लास्ट आपको ये चाहिए कि क्रेडिट कैसे यूटिलाइज हुआ है. करेक्ट. तो ये जो है आपका आईटीसी है और ये आपका आउटपुट टैक्स है. ठीक है. अभी आईजीएसटी का जो है 16,812 है पेएबल और आईटीसी है ज्यादा. करेक्ट. तो आप 26,000 जो इनपुट है उसको यहां से यूटिलाइज करोगे. तो 16,812 जो है ये लायबिलिटी आपका यहाँ पे एडजस्ट हो गया है. राइट. बैलेंस कितना बचा है? 26. बैलेंस बताइए आप. बैलेंस कितना बचा है? निधि जी, आपका क्वेश्चन है तो आप बताइए आंसर क्या है. आपका लायबिलिटी 16,812 है. उसमें से आपने 26,000 का आईटीसी में से 16,812 ले लिया, तो बैलेंस कितना बचा? सोमिया यू राइट, चौहान यू राइट. लेकिन निधि जी, इफ यू आर नॉट आंसरिंग करेक्ट 9188, तो 26,000 में से हमने 16,812 यूटिलाइज किया. बैलेंस क्या था? 9188. अब 9188 आप इसके साथ यूज कर सकते हो या फिर इसके साथ. दो ऑप्शन है आपके पास. सीजीएसटी लायबिलिटी के साथ पे कर सकते हो या फिर एसजीएसटी के लायबिलिटी. जो लायबिलिटी दोनों की सेम है, लेकिन सीजीएसटी में जो है क्रेडिट कम है और सीजीएसटी में क्रेडिट ज्यादा है, एसजीएसटी में कम है. तो जो बैलेंस बचता है अपना 9188 मैंने यहाँ पे यूज किया है. उसको यहाँ पर भी यूज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हमने यहाँ पे यूज नहीं किया है. सी एसजीएसटी में यूज किया है क्योंकि एसजीएसटी के पास क्रेडिट कम है. ठीक है. तो वहां पे यूज कर दिया है. आईजीएसटी पूरा खत्म हो गया. 26,000 था. 26,000 में 16 यहाँ पे गया और 9,188 यहाँ पे आया है. फिर क्या करेंगे? सीजीएसटी का लायबिलिटी कितना है? सीजीएसटी का लायबिलिटी 25,818, उसको यहां से हम क्लेम करेंगे। कहां से? 28,800। फिर बैलेंस कितना बचा है? 3582। क्या 3582 के हम एसजीएसटी के साथ ऑफसेट कर सकते हैं? नहीं, क्योंकि सीजीएसटी और एसजीएसटी दोनों ऑफसेट नहीं कर सकते हैं। सीजीएसटी डजेंट मैच विथ एसजीएसटी, कैनॉट गेट क्लेम्ड एज अ क्रेडिट विथ एसजीएसटी। तो फिर ये 25,218 बैलेंस ऐसे ही बचेगा। और एसजीएसटी का क्रेडिट कितना है? 14,800। लायबिलिटी कितना था? 25,218। 25,218 माइनस 9,188 करेंगे तो 16,030 बचता है। तो फिर हम पूरा क्रेडिट यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं। तो इतना मैक्सिमम हम यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं। बैलेंस जो बचता है ये कैसे आया? आउटपुट टैक्स 25,218 माइनस 23,988 मेक्स इट 1,230 विच इज पेएबल। तो 1,230 आपको कैश में पे करना है। एसजीएसटी, सीजीएसटी और आईजीएसटी कुछ नहीं पे करना है। क्लियर? दिस विल बी द बैलेंस विच इज द क्रेडिट टू बी कैरिड फॉरवर्ड।
गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
यस, गुड आफ्टरनून।
हेलो सर, इट इज़ मैंडेटरी कि हमें पहले आईजीएसटी की क्रेडिट यूज़ करनी होगी?
यस, आईजीएसटी क्रेडिट
सर
पहले यूज करना है।
सर लेकिन हम यहाँ पे सीजीएसटी की क्रेडिट यूज़ करते हैं ना, तो फिर हमारा नील आ रहा है।
नहीं, वो कंडीशन है ही नहीं ना। आईजीएसटी का क्रेडिट पूरा यूटिलाइज करना ही पड़ेगा आपको, फिर आप सीजीएसटी का यूज कर सकते हो।
ओके, थैंक यू।
Because C is center and S is states हो गया, so there is no intersection kind of a thing between C and S, because each state will have to do that adjustment with the center. That's why they are not permitted to offset CGST with SGST. करेक्ट, एग्जाम में भी ऐसे ही एक्सप्लेन करना होगा। दिस इज एग्जैक्टली एग्जाम का आंसर ही है। ये एग्जाम का ही आंसर है, बिकॉज आप कैसे यूटिलाइज करते हो वो समझाना पड़ेगा। Correct. Remaining balance. This is the remaining balance, right? 1,230 will be paid by cash. Okay. We'll take one last question. Ms. Shreya is a proprietor of Happy Enterprises, who's a registered supplier of taxable goods and services in the state of West Bengal, pays GST under regular scheme. It is not eligible for any threshold exemption. It provides the following information for the month of December 2024. Outward supply, inward supply, rates of tax is given. For good, here the rates are different. For good, it is 2.5% each, and sub services 9%. Both inward and outward supplies given are exclusive of taxes. All the conditions are claimed. Working note should find. Again, compute the minimum GST payable. It's very small question compared to a previous question. Is it possible that in cash ledger balance is available for carry forward? Yes. If you have excess cash, then that will also be available for carry forward. So like when we calculate value of supply, do we have to write notes or we can just explain in brief? You have to write notes better so that it will help. Or within the workings itself, below you can write in a bracket. Sure, Nidhi, question number 4 तक का मैं question और आंसर्स पीडीएफ दे दूंगा. Tej Prakash has given the answer so fast. SNC payable 17,500. Okay, looks like very simple question then. And ITC, oh, you only calculate the output tax payable. And ITC का क्या हुआ? ITC for CNS 34,400. No, ITC is not 34,400. Okay, we have hardly some 10 minutes, but it's okay. We'll extend a little bit because this is a little lengthier question. ITC for both 27,200. You're right, Ishant, you're right. What is the question asking? Compute the net minimum GST payable in cash. Yeah, this is very important question on what is the payment in cash. Notes. Okay, notes is nothing. Rates of GST, which is 2.5%, 9%. All inputs have been claimed, all the conditions have been satisfied. The aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year exceeds the threshold limit for registration. Okay. Shall we go to the answer now? Yeah, I think we'll go to the answer. Okay, fine. Use the tab size. Yeah. So for, I should have done this. Okay, we can go with this, no problem. Intrastate supply of goods to reliable sons, 7 lakhs. On the 7 lakhs, you will charge 2.5% each, right? Because the value of goods is 2.5%. Okay. So from 7 lakhs, it is coming here. Okay. Okay. So it is 7 lakhs, which is coming here as well. Next is interstate branch transfer in the state of West Bengal. Both places are under the same GSTN. So will you charge GST? No, because it is the same GSTIN. It is a branch transfer if it's a separate GSTIN number. Here it is the same GSTIN number, so they will not get they don't have to pay GST because it is within the same GSTIN. Within one GSTIN, you do any branch transfer, GST is not payable. Yeah, now it is visible, right? So this 7 lakh is coming here. The 1 lakh is coming here. And on that 1 lakh, no GST payable because it is a stock transfer within the same GSTIN number. अगर different GSTIN number होता तो फिर GST payable होता. But इस case में it is not a separate GSTIN number. Third aspect, permanent transfer of old computers to orphanage home without consideration. Input tax credit was not availed on the same. Okay, 80,000 rupees. Schedule 1 में disposal of assets है. But the condition is any disposal. We have taken the example of computers and cars and everything like that. even if made without consideration, is terms permanent transfer or disposal of vessels was not treated as supply because it is ITC was not availed. If you have availed the ITC, only then it will be treated as liable to GST. In this case, we have just disposed of the value is 18,000, no GST charge. But Schedule 1 wanted that if you are making any disposal without consideration, it will be included provided you have claimed the ITC. इस case में ITC claim नहीं किया है because it's saying ITC was not claimed on the same, so I will not charge GST. Third is advance receipt for future supply of management consultancy services. Yes, liable. Advance receipt for services is liable. Advance for goods is not liable. So here it is included. Okay. On 40,000 at 9%, 40,000 at 9% each. Right. Next is, this is my total output tax payable. Now ITC, how much I will utilize. IGST, what I will utilize, I'll show a separate table for this. ITC is purchase of taxable goods from registered person. Goods, so 2.5%. Okay. So goods is 2.5% itself. This 8 lakh is showing up here. Availed works contract service for repair. This is works contracts of block credit. No, but it is for repair and was debited in P&L account. This is on the block credit which we were discussing. If the block credit is capitalized, then you don't get the credit. But if it is expensed in P&L account, even though if it is works contract, if you expend in P&L account, you will get the credit. So 30,000 on that 9%, 9% each. Okay. Everything they're given intrastate. So I'm taking CGST and SGST. Legal services from an advocate, will you get it? Yes, you will get it. RCM is payable. Yes, RCM is also payable and credit also is available. ITC on services used in the course of furtherance of business. So 50,000, you will claim the credit and it will be payable also. But you will not show in your regular payable. Why? Because it has to be paid in cash. You cannot utilize the credit. So you will take the credit here for others. So our total credit is 27,200. Fine. So this is our total credit, which is 27,200. From our total liability, we will reduce the credit. Something is payable, nothing is payable. Is it carry forward? Yes, balance is carried forward. But legal services, which is 44,000, 50,000 into 9%, which is 4,500. So that has to be paid in cash only. Our output tax we can utilize with ITC, but RCM has to be paid in cash. So our RCM we are paying in cash. So this will be the minimum GST payable in cash. We cannot assume because here they have said both places are under the same GSTI. And if they don't give, then you can assume. Since they have given facts clearly, we do not have to assume it, Ishan. If GST is different, then we have to pay. Yes, we have to pay. Carried forward amount is, yes, 27,200 minus 21,100, 6,100 each. You're right. Here, so when any RCM comes, you should not show it in a total output tax liability. Compute output less ITC and then add it because RCM liability has to be paid in cash. Credit, you will get it, but payable in cash. Legal service point, that is what I was discussing, Tanush, that lawyer services, advocate services, or any RCM, you have to add it after your output minus input and pay it because this is the any RCM, not only advocate services, any RCM you have to pay in cash only. Only then you can claim the credit. Fine. So I'll upload all the question and answers. You can have a work at it. And any questions on ITC you have, you can ask now or later on in the next session also. Hopefully nothing because After our regular session, we have taken 2 extra sessions on ITC. Everything should have been solved. Works contract, yes. If it is works contract, which is there in capital account, you show it in your balance sheet, then it is blocked. Any works contract which is capitalized is blocked. Any works contract which is expensed, why will you expense it? Because the accounting standard says it is not a capital expenditure, it is a recurring expenditure, you can expense it off. So that's why when the works contract is expensed, then credit is available. If works contract is not expensed, here they specifically said was debited to P&L account, which means it is expensed off. अगर वो P&L में इसी साल में खर्चे में चला गया है, if it is expensed off during this year, then it is availed as a credit. Otherwise, it will not be available. After paying cash for ISM, then we claim credit. No, it is all parallel, Somesh, that you have included in the input tax credit while you're filing your returns. RCM separate column comes so that you have to pay it by cash. It happens in parallel. Nothing that you pay and then claim it. It will be in one return. In the one return, RCM will be showing separately. Once you pay it, the credit will automatically come there and payable also will come.
Good evening, students. So myself, Swati, as you know, faculty board of studies, and very thank you, Deepak sir. Very good, wonderful session, and I hope that the queries of all of you have already been resolved. ITC a bit difficult topic. Students might take it as a bit difficult one, but I think Deepak sir has explained it thoroughly. We have allotted sufficient number of classes for this topic, and lot of questions have also been solved. So all your doubts would have resolved by now. And yes, the point which he is discussing, it is very important that RCM liability is to be discharged in cash only. But yes, one thing you need to keep in mind that input tax credit is available if those services are used in the course of furtherance of business. But you cannot set off ITC for making payment. ITC, any services which are taxable under reverse charge, that liability has to be set off in through cash only. ITC cannot be used. The reason is that because tax payable under reverse charge, it is not an output tax, right? So we cannot use input tax credit for paying any out. We can use we use input tax credit for the payment of output tax, but RCM does not fall under the output tax, so it has to be paid in cash only. And ITC is available. This is very important. Generally, we in the compulsory question during examination also, we get this point in the exam that we have some supply of services, outward services and inward services where tax is payable under RCM. So please understand it very carefully. This is a very tricky point which students generally forget during examination. This is very important. And we hope that this topic, all the provisions, this is very important, ITC, all the substantive provisions of GST, they carry the highest weightage in the examination. And together with supply, place of supply, time, value, exemptions, and ITC. And we get the compulsory question on involving implications of input tax credit, and sometimes one more question on input tax credit. So this is very important and significant concept of GST, the backbone of GST. I hope that the provisions are clear to you, and I request you to share the feedback in the feedback form. You may start sharing your feedback. And with this, Deepak sir, is there? I hope that all the questions have been taken up.
Yes, yes, madam.
है ना? तो shall we end the session? I hope that all the queries have also been resolved for the students. So please, students, share your feedback for the class. And yes,
Okay, thank you very much, students. We will continue in the next session. We have a topic on Thursday on registration. We will discuss on the registration topic. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, friends. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. And students, please share your feedback in the feedback form. With this, we end up this session.